While tunneling towards the vault, the ground suddenly collapsed beneath them. They never expected to crash onto a tomb's roof, and Jason froze at the sight of bones scattered everywhere. Instead of feeling even a hint of fear, he was thrilled and called his partners down. It turned out there was a passage leading straight beneath the bank's vault. They had merely chipped away a few bricks overhead. At the vault's concrete slab, everyone fired up and sprang into action with a high-powered torch, burning through the floor as Jason crawled in to inspect. Sure enough, it was the vault they'd been hunting. Recent fire left it thick with smoke and a stench, making work impossible, so Jason proposed a 1-hour break before moving in. Meanwhile, they warned Wang Feng's men over the radio to stay on guard. Unknown to them, someone monitored and recorded their conversation, then immediately called the police to report it. Since the call didn't specify which bank and the signal covered a 10-kilometer radius, there are dozens of banks here, leaving the arriving officers with no clue. They could only leave one officer behind to keep listening, then sent patrol cars to search each nearby bank one by one. Meanwhile, during the break, Annie grabbed a flashlight and quietly slipped into the vault, apparently searching for something. Just as she locked onto safe number 118, Jason somehow appeared behind her, startling the guilty Annie. Although she hastily explained it was just excitement keeping her awake, Jason's suspicions grew, and to avoid letting the night drag on, everyone immediately pulled out tools, cut into the safe's door, grinning with delight as gold, silver, jewels and cash piled into little mountains. Only Annie stayed calm as she opened safe number 118. Just as she went to pry it open, Jason beat her, dumped its contents, and discovered inside. Once word got out that anyone had seen these things, secrets of the powerful, their death was all but certain. It was a massive problem, but to avoid slowing down his partners, Jason decisively pushed it aside. But just then, the lookout suddenly sent an alert. A police car had appeared at the bank's entrance. The officers and the bank manager were preparing to go in and inspect, and everyone froze in terror. Just as they feared exposure, footsteps outside faded. Seeing the intact vault, the manager felt reassured and guided the police off-site, letting the crew breathe relief. To prevent complications, Jason immediately ordered all the loot to be packed up and to escape at top speed. Yet the moment he relayed the message to Wang Feng's underling, another mishap struck. The young man, jittery on his first job, accidentally dropped the walkie-talkie down the stairs. This completely severed their communications. Unbeknownst to them, that clumsy mistake actually saved their lives. An ambulance had just rolled in to test the device's range, and when the police picked up no transmissions, they dismissed any suspicion of the bank. But as Jason's car pulled away, 2 men intercepted it. They found it empty. Jason, suspecting Annie, had changed his route. He'd decisively altered their plan and relocated to an abandoned warehouse as their new base. After everyone split the loot, 2 of them slipped away quickly, and Jason finally came clean about what he'd been hiding. The last 2 partners were stunned. They knew that thing spelled death, but Annie, naively dismissing their fears, reminded them the Zhongqing had promised to surely spare them if they retrieved the goods. When she said the other Zhongqing wouldn't lift a finger, Jason lost it, her innocence terrifying. Too deep, they had no choice but to negotiate, to see if they could save their skins. Yet once the heist hit the papers, the robbed bank finally decided to inspect its vault. The moment the door opened, it nearly gave the manager a heart attack. What Jason hadn't expected was, this small vault hides the powerful secrets and implicates many government officials. To stop those scandals surfacing, they immediately resorted to every means to hunt people down. Charlie was the first to be captured. At first, he refused to admit anything, but after a round of brutal, inhuman torture, he spilled everything, leaving the remaining few either mysteriously murdered or taken as bargaining tools. When Jason heard they wanted to exchange the ledger for hostages, he immediately rifled through the seized files and indeed found a red notebook. Just after glancing at its contents, Jason instantly seized the initiative. The notebook held proof of merchants bribing police, guarding against silencing witnesses afterward. Jason instructed Annie to extract the officers' names from the case and cross-check them against the ledger. Finding no bribery, he devised a plan to satisfy parties and summoned the corrupt merchants. He ordered the kidnappers to bring the hostages to Central Station at 11 a.m. for the exchange, then called Zhongqing Bureau agents to deliver others' passports and travel permits to Central Station, tore out a ledger page to give Brother Chang Mao. His orders: find upright Sheriff Ned at the police station, explain ledger, wait at Central Station. Jason took the documents to the exchange point. What he didn't expect was that those who arrived for the trade were actually a duke of the nobility. Without much small talk, each side took what they wanted and swiftly departed. When corrupt merchants spotted Zhongqing Bureau agents, they fled the station with hostages. After completing the exchange, Jason chased and caught them, unleashing a savage beating just as their henchmen opened fire. Jason quickly dove behind a car, then kicked loose a brick from the wall and struck a henchman's head with it. Though Jason's hair was still a bit messy, his combat prowess remained formidable. Just as he was about to pull his partner away, a police force arrived in time, arrested unscrupulous merchants, and Jason handed over the ledger as agreed, while the group slipped away under the sheriff's cover.